That always works. Wow, what a crowd. Give yourselves a warm, warm round of applause. Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, legislators, local and city officials, distinguished members of the Platform Party, and honored guests, of which there are many. But before we go to them, my name, by the way, is Harvey Kesselman, and I have the honor to serve as president of Stockton University. This group of folks are these real young folks, future Ospreys. That's the Richmond Avenue School, the students from there. Give them a huge round. They are great. The entire Stockton community has waited a very, very long time to say this, and I say it in full voice and with all the excitement that I can muster. Welcome to Stockton, Atlantic City. Nearly 50 years ago, Stockton planted itself in Atlantic City, right down there on Boardwalk and Tennessee Avenue. And as everyone knows, we have grown since then. From operating that temporary campus in that former, relatively run-down, well, nearly condemned Mayflower Hotel, to constructing this beautiful, state-of-the-art academic and residential complex. From a very small campus in the middle of the Pinelands National Reserve to the establishment of an Atlantic City University District and our state designation as an anchor institution, from our humble beginnings of slightly less than 1,000 students back in 1971 to more than 52,000 active alumni now, I think everyone would agree we have come a long way. But what we will never outgrow is our primary reason for existing. We will never abandon our mission to provide a quality and affordable education to a diverse body of students with a commitment to lifelong learning, to promote a culture of civility, acceptance, and to cultivate a sense of community, to help them grow and mature into civically engaged citizens with a commitment, as I said before, to lifelong learning. That is the Stockton way. And the growth and evolution of Stockton University has never been about simply acquiring land or building buildings. It's more than that. That's part of it. Today, we do everything in support of our principle, students first. This beautiful new residential complex you see behind me, with all those S's there, the Ospreys there, it's about students first and giving them a safe, living environment where they can think freely and be creative. The state-of-the-art academic center, it's about students first and creating a pathway for success and enriched opportunities for them to learn well and prosper in whatever career path they choose. It really is about the students, folks, and providing them an environment of academic excellence. Our incredible faculty and staff, many of whom are here today, perform this every single day. They pour everything they have into our students to ensure they receive a first-rate education that will catapult them. However, we would not be here today if not for like-minded individuals who also are committed to the betterment of our students and the revitalization of this community. Today's ceremony exemplifies the determined will and diligent efforts of a series of collaborative public-private partnerships at so many different levels. Will you join me in giving a hearty round of applause to thank each and every one of our partners for helping to create this transformational moment in the history of Stockton University. Several of our partners and supporters are represented on the Platform Party. Each will share a few words about this special moment and what this project means to them. Senate President Steve Sweeney, has been an incredible leader of our state and has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to Stockton, Atlantic City, and New Jersey. His unshakable determination to bring about meaningful and enduring change to this city is second to none. He has been a friend of higher education and a formidable advocate for the state colleges and universities. I personally cannot thank him enough for his support, and this project, along with so many others, including our quad, does not happen without his guidance and his leadership. All of us at Stockton are grateful. He is our Senate President. I am personally grateful. He is my friend. Senator Smith.
Good morning. Dreams do come true, I guess. This project was talked about for probably decades. People talked about, we need Stockton in Atlantic City. We need Stockton to strengthen Atlantic City. And you know, in the past, Atlantic City didn't want Stockton, which was quite remarkable. They said no, they had no interest. Then we got new leadership, and things changed. I want to thank Harvey. He's done a phenomenal job as the president of this university, and he really deserves a round of applause. You know, to do the things that we've done, you know, nothing that's worth anything is easy. And there were some really difficult choices that we had to make for this city, and we made them. And I think people can see the turnaround. There's more than 30,000 people working in Atlantic City now. And basically, you're seeing the birth of a new economy in Atlantic City. And I was here 2 years ago, I was asking John Hanson, 2 years ago with Governor Christie, as we talked about the vision of what we hoped could happen here. You know, Atlantic City had really hit the rocks. And we realized all of our whole economy here was based on gaming. And everyone's talking about Eds and Meds as a place to go. And we're like, well, we got the perfect, you know, Eds piece, Stockton. And when we mentioned this to the former president, he's like, nah, they told me too many times no. I've changed my mind, I don't want to do it. Then you get new leadership, and they can see the vision of what can be, and this is the beginning. It's not the end. It is the very beginning of a new economy for Atlantic City, Atlantic County, and South Jersey. And the great thing is you're expanding capacity at our university, so we're not going to have as many young people leave the state because they can't go to schools in New Jersey. So all the way around, this has been an amazing win for us. I am thrilled to be here. And by the way, the projects look beautiful. I'm an iron worker. My guys put the steel up. That's even better. Just so you know. Union iron worker, just so you know. And I want to mention somebody that's in the audience because I know it was one of his visions a long, long time ago. My friend, Senator Bill Gormley. Bill? You know, Bill always had great vision. The details were questionable, but the vision was phenomenal. Details were hard, Bill, but listen, the vision was right. It took a bipartisan effort, and this city is moving forward in such a wonderful way. And again, to the Stockton Board of Trustees and to the President, this is a wonderful opportunity to give people of Atlantic City and South Jersey an opportunity to really show what we can be. And can you imagine being one of the kids here? Look at this. This doesn't exist anywhere. God bless. Enjoy. Congratulations.
Got that right. Just a few months ago, the chairperson of AC DevCo, Mr. John Hanson, was inducted into the New Jersey Hall of Fame. Former Governor Kane introduced him by delineating several of his most significant accomplishments and achievements, of which there are many. During that wonderful ceremony, though, Chairman Hanson stated that his work in Atlantic City has been among the most gratifying of his career. John Hanson is not one to seek the limelight. He does not have to. One need only spend 5 minutes with him to know you are in the presence of someone of extraordinary substance and great wisdom. I am honored and privileged to be able to call him a friend, and I welcome him to the podium.
Harvey, would you please send those words to my wife? Thank you. So over the last 60 years that I've been in the real estate business, I've attended many groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings. And so I call the groundbreakings hope, and the ribbon cutting is reality. And when I look at the facilities here, it's nice to see that the buildings look like the renderings. So I congratulate all who participated, and I'm sure if I asked everyone in the crowd to stand up because they participated, the whole place would stand up, because success has more than 1,000 fathers. But that is good, and I heard the senator mention, so I don't have to read what Bill Gormley gave me to say. I won't say that, okay? I do thank all the officials at the various levels. When you have a public-private partnership, to do a project of this nature, it takes the state, and particularly the Department of Education was very helpful for the grant that they wrote. It takes the former Governor Christie. Without Governor Christie, we would not have been able to get the incentives, to get the encouragement we did, as the senator just mentioned. But I also want to tell you that all the things you can get, the officials and the dollars and everything else, it only happens because you got workers and craftsmen. So when I've been on the job and I've seen them, they did what the architect asked them to do, and that's why you have this beautiful facility. So congratulations, and please let's give them all a round. So I have the privilege of being the chairman of AC DevCo, and to most people, AC DevCo is some guy from New Brunswick, and there's Sarah Clark, who does all the work. So actually, AC DevCo is 4 people. It's Bob Holmes. Bob is here. I saw him just a minute ago. Bob has been doing projects of this nature on a pro bono basis since 1976 here in Atlantic City. Finn Wentworth, I asked Finn, are you coming? He's someplace in the backwoods hiking in Minnesota, but he was very, very important. Obviously, Chris Palladino was important to us, but we're volunteers. So the closest I can come to in fact, we're volunteers. I had a car bring me today. I don't submit anything. We pay for it ourselves. I just want you to know this is, I wouldn't say it's exactly a labor of love, but you'll love your project once you see that it's been built. And I told President Kesselman when I was here for the groundbreaking that my mother went to high school on the site here. So he was kind enough to research it. And he sent me 3 people. Her name was Elizabeth Smith, and there were 3 Elizabeth Smiths, and I'm looking. So the one with the dark hair I determined was my mother, okay? So going forward, what's the future for AC DevCo? To my left is the staging ground, is Lot 21, and behind that, a block away, is Elbridge. We can do the same thing there, and more than double the presence that Stockton has here in Atlantic City. We'd take all the people helped on this one we would need, and we look forward to doing it again. Same pay, same conditions. Happy to be here to help. Thank you. Congratulations.
New Jersey Assembly Majority Leader Lou Greenwald has been one of the staunchest supporters of Stockton's expansion in Atlantic City and has been one of the most visible legislators on our Galloway campus during the past 2 decades. His leadership ensured that the New Jersey Assembly supported this extraordinary project, and the Stockton community is grateful to the legislator, many of whom are here, for seeing this potential. Lou is deeply committed to our students, having served as our first legislator in residence 7 years ago. His dedication to Southern New Jersey is known by all, and Stockton is so fortunate to have him in our corner. Please welcome my friend and colleague, Majority Leader Lou Greenwald.
Harvey, thank you so much. This crowd is remarkable. I want to say hello to the people in the back out there. Got the best view. Wherever you look, you got a great view. This crowd just stands as a testament to me that people crave inspiration. They crave hope and opportunity. And for the young people that are here, they crave your future and your success. This is about your inspiration. It is about your hope. It is about your opportunity. This is for you. And don't ever forget that. We stood here 2 years ago. This city was literally 2 years ago, days away from bankruptcy. Days away from bankruptcy, and we fought for the Atlantic City economic opportunity and recovery to make sure that we could stand here today with the opportunity that is here for these children. People said to us that no one would not, they wouldn't come. Look at how many people came here today. Look at the children that fill this building for their future and their opportunity. And for those who said that, you know, if you build it, the children aren't going to want to come, the parents aren't going to want to send their kids here, we have a message for you. This building is filled, and the one white building with the black windows that juts out, take a look, take a picture, because we're knocking that one down and we're building there next. Mr. Hansen said it well. You know, there's a saying that people refer to: failure is an orphan, success has 1,000 fathers. It's tragic when that people root for failure. And for political opportunity and political theater, people would attempt to stand in the way. But true leaders get out in front of issues in a bipartisan fashion. People like my friends Vince Mazzio and John Armano, people like Steve Sweeney, and his name has been said a number of times here today because it matters. People like Bill Gormley, who even when they had retired from public life, while we were fighting the battle to help make this a reality, when I would run into Bill, he would stop me and say, keep fighting for what you're fighting for, you're doing the right thing. This is going to work and people want it and it's going to be here. So Bill, thank you for that very much. I would be remiss if I didn't thank a dear friend who isn't with us anymore, in Jim Whalen. Jim Whalen loved this city more than anybody I know. He spent his days out on that beach, and I'm sure when he was a teenager working that beach as a lifeguard, hoped and dreamed about a better opportunity for Atlantic City. And the day that he became mayor, he worked every day as an opportunity to fight for the constituents here. And when he came and joined us in the state legislature, he may have come to Trenton, but his heart never left this city. And I can guarantee you that he, like Bill Gormley and so many others, they dreamed this dream. They had a vision of what this could be. But none of us could have ever hoped or believed that the response would be what it is today. When I see the inaction in Washington that is torn down by partisan politics, one of the things we hope that you see and take pride in is that we have been able to find a way to cross partisan lines and work across party aisles with people like Governor Christie, Steve Sweeney, and myself, and all of our legislators to make this an opportunity. This is what government is supposed to be. This is the first non-casino development project in this city in years. It is a public-private partnership of a success story. And it is the first of many. And I will just close with this. I know our governor today is in Atlantic City. I hope he hears your cheers. I hope he finds his way to walk down this magnificent boardwalk and stumble upon what is happening here today. Because the greatest sign of moving forward as government and a democracy is building upon the successes that are already in place. We don't have to damage people's legacies. We can build upon them. This is a legacy that can be built upon, and we're going to build from here right down that boardwalk until this city's turned around. God bless you. Thank you for having me here today.
When one thinks of AC DevCo, the name that surfaces is Mr. Chris Palladino, its president and CEO. As the developer of the AC Gateway project, it was his vision, his business acumen, and his drive that yielded this magnificent project. Working closely with Joe Gingoli, his incredible general contractor, the architectural firms of Elkis Manfredi, and Atlantic City's own Tommy Sykes of Sosh. Give Tom, where is he? He's here. Along with Stockton's phenomenal cabinet members and their respective teams, this visionary leader has created a masterpiece. Stockton is deeply indebted to Chris Palladino and his staff, particularly Sarah, and we ask that you warmly welcome him to the microphone. Chris?
Thank you, President Kesselman. You know, when you're invited to speak and there's 15 or you feel like there's 15 people that are going to speak before you, you have to bring a Sharpie with you because you had to cross out all the stuff that people have already said. You know, when we started this journey, you know, I certainly expected that there was going to be a day when the sky was pretty blue and dolphins were in the surf and Stockton students were on the beach and everyone was high-fiving themselves of how the AC Gateway project was going to be part of the Atlantic City comeback story. But I was wrong. I knew the true legacy of this project, or at least I thought the legacy of this project was going to be realized on a rainy, windswept Tuesday in February, like it happens every once in a while here. And 2,000 students, staff, faculty, South Jersey gas employees, and visitors were going about their business, actually woven into the fabric of this great city. But I was wrong again. The true legacy of this project has yet to be realized. Most people told us, and some people very close to me said, you can't do that kind of partnership that you've accomplished in other places in Atlantic City. It was the type of partnership that Senate President Sweeney and I talked about all the time and how it's being used in places like Glassboro and New Brunswick and Newark. How this type of partnership that Chairman Hansen promised for Atlantic City, people were just saying it was antithetical to the culture. But they were wrong. Mayor Gilliam and I think you were council president at the time, on a really cold, wet day on Atlantic Avenue, he promised that he was going to help us. We shook hands, and he was going to help us acquire some property that we needed to do this project, and he delivered. In fact, a couple of weeks later, the planner in Atlantic City, who was Elizabeth Taranick at the time, called and said, I have good news and better news. The appraisal came back less. It's only $330,000, but you can give us the $170,000 for Browns Park. And we did that, and the mayor and Atlantic City built Browns Park. CREDA stepped up and made us a pre-development loan. The New Jersey Economic Development Authority awarded us tax credits. The State Department of Higher Education awarded funds for this project. Senator Gormley continued to remind us that this was all his idea. Chairman Hansen continued to remind me, quit complaining, you're just a volunteer. Ed Graham and then Mike Renna stepped up and made it all possible, quite frankly. Not only did they commit that they were going to move South Jersey Gas back to Atlantic City, but they were going to give us a bridge loan to help us do the initial acquisition so we could get this project started. We visited with County Executive Denny Levinson. We were looking for credit support to try to make this project work and became financially viable. And the first thing he said to me when I walked in the office, how can I help? Frank Formica, the freeholder chairman at the time, basically walked us through some pretty tough public processes in Atlantic County. And our architects, Elkis Manfredi, Soch, they drew, Joe Gingoli built. The working men and women of the trade showed up every day and built this building on time, on budget, and safely. Joe Gingoli implemented and made this ground zero for a new way of looking at local hiring and local training. Sarah Clark, who ran this project with her team, Ariana Garudi, Allison Brown, Terry Poland, kept everybody on track. Don Hudson was always there, and I'm supposed to call him Donald Hudson AIA or something, was there from Stockton to really kind of give us all that help when you get into those little bit of difficult design things. You know, the Mud Girls, I don't know if Dory's here, but the Mud Girls taught us about pride and how to roll clay. The last chapter of this project is yet to be written. We could double the size of this campus on property that AC DevCo in Stockton controls. We can bring another 2,000 students to the boardwalk and to the streets of Chelsea. This project's legacy will be the realization that anything is possible, as President Kesselman said, when thoughtful, well-meaning people work together towards a common goal. So I thank everybody, particularly President Kesselman, for all the support that he's given us and the board, and we're just getting started.
Our next speaker, Dr. Demetrius Donnie Allison, is the president of our faculty senate and is professor of communication studies and Africana studies. Donnie is an outstanding faculty leader at Stockton and is deeply committed to community engagement. Her support of the Atlantic City expansion has been steadfast, and she is the quintessential faculty member, an excellent teacher, genuine scholar, and dedicated to service. Although she cannot stay for the entire ceremonies as she teaches in Galloway at 12:30, and you got to get back there, nothing could have kept her from being here today. Join me in welcoming my colleague and friend, Dr. Donnie Allison. There you go. There you go.
Good morning, everyone. I don't know about you, but I want to go back to college just so that I can live in this building. It is awesome. I snuck around when I wasn't necessarily supposed to see the rooms. But obviously, I can't go back in time, so I will try to convince my 11th grader to come here so that I can hang out in his room. So welcome, everyone, on behalf of the faculty. We are so excited to become an integral part of this city. It's been a long time coming, and as faculty, we are truly excited for the opportunities that this union can bring. We are excited for our students and their opportunity to integrate themselves into the city, to learn more about themselves and more about others. We as faculty pride ourselves on hands-on learning opportunities we have been able to provide for our students. And we know that Atlantic City will bring so much more. It'll bring more diversity into their lives, more compassion, and more understanding of people. So we want to welcome this great crowd. This is a phenomenal crowd. And we want to just say that there are so many great possibilities on the horizon. The sun isn't quite out yet, but we can see the possibilities. It's a nice, cool day, so we're not roasting out here. And we are just really excited. And once the secret gets out, it'll be a lot harder to get into these buildings and a lot harder to get a faculty office. I might put my bid in now because we may end up having to, put something out here in order to have an American Ninja Warrior fight over who can be in that beautiful building. So welcome everyone to a great day. Everyone involved in this should be really, really proud. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to introduce our newest senator who represents Atlantic City in the 2nd Legislative District. But before I do, permit me to formally acknowledge, and you've heard his name many times before, but one of his predecessors who has been acknowledged before, and that is Senator, and I'll call you Emeritus, Bill Gormley, who was a force in the Senate for 25 years and who genuinely was instrumental in the selection of this particular site and who kept this project alive when others thought it would never happen. So, Bill, thank you on behalf of all of us at Stockton. I know you heard it. I would be remiss if I did not shout out our very own Senator Chris Connors, a Stockton alum, who I hope is here, Senator Jim Beach, who is our dear friend and was our most recent legislator in residence. He's here. I know that Congressman Lobiondo, I saw, is here, and our assembly persons, Fitzmacio, John Amato, Cindy Gove, and if I've missed you, forgive me, because there's so many of you here. A warm round of applause for all of them, because each and every one of them was supportive of Stockton. And he's been mentioned before, but permit me to mention his name, Senator Jim Whalen, who simply stated he loved this institution, and whose wife, Kathy, I believe she is here with us today. There she is. Warm round of applause, Kathy. Thank you. Now to you. Now to Senator Chris Brown. Chris has been an effective voice for Atlantic City and a great friend to Stockton. I am convinced he will continue to work tirelessly to ensure that this beautiful campus provides academic and cultural opportunities for Atlantic City residents, as well as play a critical role in Atlantic City's and Atlantic County's resurgence. His commitment to the betterment of this region is legendary to those of us who reside here. Please welcome Senator Chris Brown.
Well, good morning and welcome. It's wonderful to see you here. Kathy, I know we talked about Senator Whalen, he was more than senator to me, he was a friend. He joined the Beach Patrol when I was just a boy, and my father was a chief, and he was a champion swimmer. He brought back the swim around the island, and we always looked up to him, not just for what he did for our community, but what a great athlete he was and what a great role model. And so welcome, and thank you for being here. I also think it's important, I think my first act of bipartisan outreach should be pointing out that we have Senator Stephen Persky here with us as well, a great senator from our great district, Steve Persky. Senator Gormley's been mentioned more than enough for anybody, and you know, when you're lucky enough to show up and someone that accomplished was there before you, it's a tall order to try to meet and fill those shoes, but God knows we do our best, and he reminds me of the things I need to do in order to accomplish that on a regular basis, so I thank you. And Judge Persky, I refer to him as Judge, he calls me on a regular basis to tell me the things I need to do as well, so I'm doubly blessed. When I was trying to figure out what to say here today, I came across the words of Andrew Carnegie. And he reminded us, teamwork is the ability to work together toward a common vision, the ability to direct individual goals toward group goals. It is the fuel that allows unselfish people to attain uncommon results. Well, this beautiful campus is certainly the result of unselfish people coming together to achieve uncommon results. And we wouldn't be celebrating here today without the leadership of Senator Sweeney. And I want to personally point that out. Without the leadership of Senator Sweeney, there's another friend of mine who's not here. You can clap. I pointed him out on purpose. There's another friend of mine who's not here today, and he was a very big part, I believe, as well, and that's former Mayor Don Guardian. And so I think it's important that we mention Don. And so we have to remember, as many have pointed out, this team effort started out a long time ago. And I remember back, I guess it was in 2012, then President Satkamp called me, and I met with him in his office, and he said, we'll have lunch, and he wanted to show me the details of the plans at the time. So he broke out his desk. He had the food, blueprints, plans, all the things that he was planning on doing. And just when dessert arrived, guess who showed up? Dr. Kesselman. And he made it in time for dessert, but I remember speaking with Dr. Kesselman, and together we discussed the vision of bringing Stockton University back to its roots here in Atlantic City. We discussed the reality that all across the country, college universities are serving as the center for economic diversification and revitalization. And one of the things that we all know here from working together in a bipartisan manner, making sure that we reach across the aisle and treat each other with the dignity and the respect that we deserve, we know that there's nothing that we can't accomplish. And we will continue to do great things. And as you all know, I know with the leadership here, we will continue to make sure Atlantic City moves forward. And when we talk about tearing down these buildings and expanding this university, it sends a message to all the people throughout Atlantic City. I mean, what opportunity for those who are born, raised, and live here in Atlantic City, children who deserve that opportunity, who deserve that chance, who so often don't see it, don't realize that it's possible, but to now grow up in a city that has a university right in their own backyard. You know, I was fortunate my father was an Osprey. He taught me when I was a little guy, he went back to college. And he went to Stockton University. He was in his 50s. And he demonstrated to me through his actions that education is important. And he remained the chief of the Atlantic City Beach Patrol, but he was the chief of the Atlantic City Beach Patrol with a college degree. And that mattered to him. And because it mattered to him, it mattered to me, and it helped me to understand by having this university here, all these young people. And Richmond Ave, how we doing? Is Mrs. Brown with you? Okay. That's a good thing. She said, my students are there, just don't goof it up. So hopefully we did all right. I want to thank Leo Schofer and, of course, Dr. Kesselman and everybody up on this stage for their leadership. And there's one more thing I'd be remiss if I didn't point out. You know, the state's broke. State's broke. And so when money was needed to be borrowed to be able to make this project happen, you want to talk about team effort. Executive Levinson, Chair Formica, Jim Bertina, Maureen, Amy Gatto, they all stepped up. Our Atlantic County freeholders stepped up, along with our chair and our executive. And that's an example. If they don't bond, they don't get the money. This doesn't happen. We're not here today. So this is truly a team effort, a group effort, and what a great day. So God bless all of you. Thank you so much, and thank you, Dr. Kessler.
There's a clear theme coming out today, and that's because it has the added benefit of being true. This truly was a joint effort. And by the way, here comes the sun, Donnie, okay? I believe there was a song, maybe? Okay. Shortly after assuming the presidency of Stockton, I received a call from County Executive Denny Levinson, who asked that I meet with him in Atlantic City. We met at O'Donnell Memorial Park and walked around what was then a number of empty lots. I was familiar with this part of the city because it was an area, and Chris mentioned it, that Stockton had been interested in for about 10 years. And it actually does appear within the earliest drafts of our Atlantic City master plan. During our walk, Denny said to me that if Stockton decided to build in Atlantic City, he would do all he could to help make Stockton a reality. Well, Denny Levinson delivered, and he did so in a very big way. It's been mentioned, but he had delivered the county, the ACIA, John Lamy and those folks, along with Frank Formica, the freeholder boards, all of them. Their support was absolutely necessary to fund this unique and extraordinarily complex public-private partnership. So all of us at Stockton are indebted to our county executive, Mr. Denny Levinson.
Being one of a long line of speakers, you know, you crossed it out with your Sharpie. I'm in my head, what do I want to say now? I feel a little bit like Elizabeth Taylor's seventh husband on their wedding night. I know what to do, but I don't know how to make it interesting. When Palladino and Kesselman came to me, and I did say, you know, anything I can do, well, I didn't know it was going to be $127 million, and the full faith and credit of the county was going to be behind it. But you know, if it was $200 million, I would have put the full faith and credit of the county behind this project. I believe in it. And I am not prone to hyperbole, but let me say this. In the long run, this is going to be the greatest project that Atlantic City ever had, going back to the creation of the boardwalk. This will be University Town. And going to be something that will be so incredibly infectious. The whole neighborhood, the whole area, the whole city of Atlantic City will be something that we're all going to be extremely proud of. We always have been. But this is something that we never dreamed of. Imagine having home base in the Pine Barrens. How can you expand? It's a dedicated ecological area. Here, imagine what we can do along this beach and boardwalk, going in both directions. You only pointed in one direction. This is just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. And, I hope we're all around to see it. I plan to live a long time. And, the osprey is found on every single continent in the world, with the exception of Antarctica. And it stands for abundance. And that is something that we all will look forward to with Stockton University, under the leadership of Dr. Kesselman and the far-sighted individuals that were all mentioned. One extremely too much, but just kidding, of course. We all owe our existence and my success. And before I close, I do want to say to Senator Sweeney how much I appreciate you putting that incentive bill forward. It's going to mean a whole lot to this whole county. And in closing, to Lou Greenwald, if I had hair, Lou, that's the way I would look. Thank you.
By the way, I also get calls from former Senator Steve Persky, but he tells me what not to do, not what to do. Thanks, Steve. The mayor of Atlantic City, Mr. Frank Gilliam, was born and raised in Atlantic City and previously served on City Council. He, along with City Council President Marty Small, are Stockton graduates, and they, along with former Mayor Don Guardian, who you heard about earlier, and the other members of City Council, virtually all who are here today, as well as the Atlantic City Police and Fire Departments, have been pillars of strength in this community for decades. Decades. Collectively, they have done everything possible to welcome Stockton back home. And all of us at Stockton are appreciative of their incredible support. Before asking the mayor to speak, however, I would also like to acknowledge the current and former mayors of the surrounding communities who are here with us today. All of you, you former current mayors, please stand and be recognized. I know you're here. I know, there's some. Thank you. Now join me in welcoming Mayor Frank Gilliam, another Osprey, to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. There's been an overwhelming theme, and it seems to be teamwork. They say that together everyone achieves more. And today, that exemplifies what true teamwork is about. As I stand before you, in the 90s, I was walking around a campus in the Pine Barrens, and we only had one hallway, which was J-Wing. And I never in my wildest dreams would thought that I would be the mayor of Atlantic City and at the same day be cutting a ribbon with the university being a part of the background of our new and up-and-coming economy. Although I'm an alumnus, I have a very fond relationship with Stockton because Stockton stepped up at a time when folks were talking about Atlantic City was not going to make it. There was a lot of courageous individuals who stepped up and basically came right beside Stockton, which is Senate President Sweeney, Speaker Lou Greenwald, again mentioned the former Senator Gormley, and so many others. But we should take a moment out right now to actually give a moment of silence for an individual who probably started this fight. And at this day, he's looking down upon us and smiling because it came to fruition. Can we get a moment of silence for Senator Whalen? Thank you. Ms. Whalen, thank you. It is my honor to not only stand before you as the mayor of Atlantic City, but also a student of Stockton. I probably would not be standing here if it wasn't for the education that Stockton enabled me to receive. Because of the work that basically Stockton has done throughout the region, and more importantly, having their footprint in Atlantic City, this is only but one step in the direction of the rebuilding of Atlantic City. I am so proud and so excited about the potential of Atlantic City. We heard folks talking about, why would you do that in Atlantic City? Why not Atlantic City, I say? Because Atlantic City offers any and everyone the opportunity that any other community has. Atlantic City is something that is near and dear to me. Stockton University is something that's near and dear to me. But more importantly, the future of the children of Atlantic City is most important. And this exemplifies children growing up in an environment that's not only basically going to change the way they look at life, but also create a better avenue in life for them, because education is the key to success. God bless you all. Thank you for coming, and we're looking forward to, and I may be remiss, these guys are talking about building. Time is of short essence, and we're very excited about building and redeveloping Atlantic City. So when we're talking about that black and white building, I say not now, right now. Thank you.
If that's the case, Denny, I'm coming back for a lot more money. I'm going to tell you that right now. Today might be my good day to do that. All right, Diana Gonzalez serves as the Deputy Secretary of Higher Education for the state of New Jersey, a role she began so long ago in January of 2018 as part of Governor Murphy's administration. During, though, her relatively short tenure, she has been the most visible member of the Murphy administration on the Stockton campus. Although in her important role in the Secretary of Higher Education, she is not permitted to play favorites, but deep down, Diana is an osprey. Let's warmly welcome her to the podium.
Thank you. Chris, can I just borrow that Sharpie? I'm just gonna. So I actually waterproofed my remarks, and we're doing good today in New Jersey's version of Florence Monsoon, so we're good. So I'm honored to be here today. And my understanding, Dr. Kesselman, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are going to house 534 students in this residence hall. But after today, there's going to be a waiting list for about 534 more. We'll take the corner room with the ocean view. So I'm particularly excited. You've heard words today like revitalization, innovation, opportunity, an investment, finally in an area that there was a huge divestiture in. So it's with huge excitement that our office is part of this innovation and this investment in Stockton's campus in Atlantic City. One thing that has not been mentioned today is a particular student population that will be attending this campus, and it's EOF students, the Educational Opportunity Fund. The governor and the Secretary of Higher Education made a huge investment in partnership with the legislature to increase that grant. And we hope that it will continue to expand. And we will have EOF students that are, for those that are unfamiliar, are economically disadvantaged. And they're first generation college students. So they are the first in their family to attend college. And they have that opportunity through this grant and many other grants to come here to Stockton University Atlantic campus. So that's a great, great feat. So I'll keep my remarks succinct because I know we have an amazing ribbon to cut and some scissors to hold, but on behalf of the administration, we're incredibly excited to see that revitalization and innovation in this great city. So thank you.
He was mentioned before, but we really are extremely fortunate to have as a partner Mr. Mike Renna, President and CEO of South Jersey Industries. Mike truly is a bold leader who oversees one of New Jersey's most dynamic and successful energy companies, and who never hesitated when decided to bring his headquarters back home. Mike is a man of his word, and he is a man of integrity, and all you have to do is work with him and negotiate with him to know that. And I could not be more pleased and honored that Stockton and South Jersey Industries share this Gateway Project space. Join me in welcoming our partner, Mr. Mike Renner.
Still morning. Good morning. I'm not sure how a utility guy ended up one of the last speakers following such a distinguished panel that is going to be far more articulate than I could ever hope to be. But, you know, I am constantly amazed at how fast this came together. It was less than 4 years ago. People were busy tripping over themselves to write the obituary for Atlantic City. And a group of passionate visionaries who had incredible courage came together and in short order, put together this plan for a university to come to Atlantic City and for South Jersey Gas Company to relocate our headquarters to Atlantic City. This is our home. We moved to Folsom several years ago for a lot of reasons, one of which is the Pinelands. We can't expand there. So we were looking for space 4 years ago, and when the opportunity came to move back home, we jumped at it without hesitation. It is, without question, the best decision that we have made in the last decade. The people that were involved, they've been named before, but it was Governor Christie and Chairman Hansen, Senate President Sweeney, Leader Greenwald, of course Chris Palladino, my good friend Senator Gormley. They're the ones who made this happen and brought all of the forces to bear that could bring us back to Atlantic City. And I'm just incredibly honored to be here, to be a neighbor of Stockton. We had some concerns about loud music and partying. I assured Harvey that we will be good neighbors and that he doesn't have anything to worry about as far as us disrupting their study. So, again, thank you.
He's good. The last two speakers are the chair and the vice chair of the Stockton University Board of Trustees. Many of their fellow board members, as well as members of our foundation board, are here with us today, and I ask that they all stand and be recognized. Our Board of Trustees and our foundation board, please stand and be recognized. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It doesn't happen without them. Maddie Deininger. Maddie Deininger has been a member of the Board of Trustees for more than a decade and has been our chair for the past 3.5 years. Her chair as tenure concludes next week. She's still on the board, don't worry. But quite frankly, this project does not happen if it were not for her willingness to assume the leadership of our board at the most critical time in Stockton's history. This extraordinarily successful businesswoman and dedicated Stockton alumna represents the very best of what it means to be a public servant. Maddie Deininger is of the right stuff, and please join me in welcoming our chairwoman to the podium.
Wow, what an intro. It is such an honor to stand before you as board chair and Stockton alum and express what it means to me to see this project go from a dream to an idea to reality. As many of you know, there were bumps along the way before the university settled on the right project with the right partners. However, since the decision was made, the long hours of hard work and professionalism that so many of you have shared with us has brought us to this place today, on time and on budget, and looking beautiful inside and out. Since the groundbreaking ceremony only 18 months ago, my first stop whenever I got to Absecon Island was always to come and drive by what I thought of as our campus, no matter what time of day. And I've loved seeing the progress, and by the way, I have never, ever seen such a clean construction site through the whole process. Yeah. That definitely deserves. I'm in the wine business. We have lots of big construction. It never looked. Every time I came by here, I jogged by here, it was clean. I've got a special affection for this part of the island. As many of you know, the Atlantic City High School was built in 1923 right across the street. It was a pretty magnificent looking school with a big auditorium that included a pipe organ and cost $1.75 million. In the late 60s and early 70s, my mother taught an Atlantic City summer elementary school program. Instead of finding a babysitter, she enrolled me in the half-day kids music program at the high school. Actually, it was pretty wonderful. I remember that high school as a substantial brick building that represented the proud intentions of a city determined to educate its students. Now it seems like a stroke of good karmic luck that our new Stockton Atlantic City home has landed here at the same intersection of Albany, Atlantic, and Ventnor Avenues. It was exciting to watch students and their parents move in a little over 2 weeks ago. Suddenly there were decorations on the windows and lights on in the academic building. I'm humbled when I think of the collective expertise, relentless attention to detail, and unwavering belief in Stockton's mission to be part of Atlantic City's future that has brought such life to this project. Atlantic City holds a special place in the heart of Stockton, and we look forward to continuing our strong partnership of community engagement, dedication to the arts and culture, and standing firm as an anchor institution and economic driver for the region. Thank you to all of you for your never-ending energy, vision, and enthusiasm for our students, our community, and more specifically, for this project. What a long, positive way we've come in less than 3 years. I can't wait to see where we go from here. Thank you.
Last but certainly not least is our Vice Chair, Mr. Leo Schofer. There are very few individuals, maybe Frank, maybe one of the other ones, if any, who know more about this city than Leo Schofer. Leo is an AC Viking to his very core, and he loves this city like few others. His knowledge of the history of Atlantic City is legendary, and his family roots are interwoven within the fabric of this glorious island. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our incoming chair of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Leo Schofer.
Thank you, Harvey, and good day, everyone. I'm proud to be here representing my fellow members of the Board of Trustees. I'd like to begin by making a proclamation to cities like Ann Arbor, Michigan, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Amherst, Massachusetts. There's a new college town on the scene. And that college town is Atlantic City, New Jersey. And we have a great College Avenue. And that College Avenue is the famous and beautiful boardwalk of Atlantic City. This campus is truly the result of a team effort, and there are a lot of people who deserve credit and thanks. So let me begin by thanking everyone who played a part in any way in the creation of this campus. And specifically, I'd like to thank the DevCo organization, its chairman, John Hanson, and its president, Chris Palladino, for bringing their talents and experience here to help us get this done. We look forward to working with you in the future on that famous Lot 21 to get some other things done. The only thing is this time I want to be a little bit more part of the negotiations. I'd also like to thank Denny Levinson. I know it was mentioned before, but I remember a point in this when our auditors told us we couldn't do this. This would show up on our financial statements. This would kill our rating. We couldn't afford to do this. And the county stepped in and they guaranteed those bonds and helped make that possible. So thank you to Atlantic County. Now I'd like to thank and recognize the unsung heroes of today, and that's the members of the Stockton Board of Trustees. You know, I remember we had extra meetings, we had special meetings, we had emergency meetings, we had telephonic meetings, we had meetings with our auditors. It went on and on and on. But without you and your volunteerism, this would not have happened. Michael Jacobson, Andy Dolce, Meg Worthington, Nalinda Valentine, Nancy Taggart Davis, Ray Ciccone. Thank you all. You are the unsung heroes. What makes today even more significant for me, as Maddie said, and the other Vikings among us. Who's a Viking out here? There are a lot of us. And this development stands on that iconic location where Atlantic City High School stood for 71 years, from 1923 to 1994. And today the Vikings welcome another mighty seashore inhabitant, the Osprey. How fitting, how fitting. So I'd like to make a request of you. When you go home today, I want you to Google something. I want you to Google the top oceanfront universities in America. You will see many lists. There's many lists, the top 10, the top 50, the top 100. And guess what? Stockton University is not on any of those lists. So you put on your Outlook calendars 1 year from today to go and Google those lists again. And you know what you're going to find? You're going to find the #1 oceanfront university in America is Stockton, Atlantic City. Thank you all. And as we've said, this is only the beginning.
Leo does not have strong feelings about Atlantic City, does he? Beautiful, Leo. And thank you, Trustee Chauffeur, and thanks to all of our wonderful speakers. May we please give them one more round of applause, all of them. They're wonderful. As today's formal ceremony comes to a close, I have to do some, logistical stuff. I'd like to remind you to please enjoy our self-guided tours of the new facilities immediately following the ribbon-cutting ceremony. We'll have some light refreshments and Stockton students stationed throughout the buildings who can speak to the various features of the Residence Hall and Academic Center. And now we have arrived at that special moment, the moment to officially dedicate the Stockton Atlantic City campus and celebrate the completion of a long-awaited project, a multi-million-dollar public-private collaboration of which we believe is certain to bring endless returns. The legendary Vince Lombardi, and I know Steve is a huge Packer fan, once said, individual commitment to a group effort. That is what makes a team work, a company work, a society work, and a civilization work. And that is exactly what made the Atlantic City campus work. The unwavering commitment and the relentless determination of our project partners, faculty and staff, along with state and local government, working together to secure a sound future for the students of Stockton, the residents of Atlantic City, and for the entire region and state of New Jersey. Since our original opening back in 1971, and I was in that class, Atlantic City has always held a very special place in the heart of Stockton, and therefore let today, September 20th, 2018, be remembered as Stockton's second commencement. Today is Stockton's second commencement. So without further ado, I invite the members of the Stockton Board of Trustees to the stage for the facilities dedication plaque unveiling, after which I'll invite all the members of the platform party to join us for the ribbon cutting ceremony. Members of the platform party, please join us. Well, not yet, not for the ribbon cutting. Let's go. Board of Trustees. Yeah, everybody, I'm going to hold everybody should sort of pretend, okay, and anyone wants to grab this word. You have enough? Go ahead, Nick. Nick, you want to jump up top there so we can see you? Guys, you'll let second row so we can see you. You were right, Shalom. Just jump up this one and see you. A long time ago, almost 50 years ago, Stockton said its motto was plant yourself where you can grow. We're doing it one more time. We're planting ourselves where we can grow. Kudos to Stockton. Kudos to the project partners. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3.